Taylor, what's going on? How you doing? Thank you for being here.
Pretty good, pretty good. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. I've seen you in the farmers market in Wilson, and I know that you have a beef jerky company. But let's go back even before that. How did you even get interested and started in the food industry?
I started serving when I was 17 years old, and immediately after graduation, moved to Wilmington, North Carolina, and went to school for a little bit. Ended up dropping out and just full time work. And before I think I was 22 when I moved up into my first management position, and so then moved up into general manager. Loved the industry. COVID hit. It was time to do something different.
Oh, for sure.
I moved back to Wilson about 2 years ago, and then working for my family's company, which I've been begged to do for years and years and years. Well, going from working 70 hours a week to working 40 hours a week, sitting at a desk drove me absolutely nuts.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt that.
Yeah. So I actually picked up a bartending job here in Wilson and met a ton of people and still had free time in my mind. So I started messing around with beef jerky again. Something I had done years ago. It's my favorite snack, as it is many people's.
Yeah,
And I am very interested in doing the most unique, different flavors that you can't find, at your local gas station, and
yeah.
just different off the wall flavors. So I started doing that. That's the name actually came from making it in my work's break room.
Ah, nice.
And I would bring it to the bar at work and let people try it and everything. And then I met somebody who really got on me pretty hard about selling it. And he's actually a business partner of mine now in a
Nice.
different business, and my life partner. But so that kind of kicked it off. Started with some very good community, strong community uh, that helped me get started. And I figured it was time to start making money for myself and not for everybody else. So I
Right.
figured I'd go ahead and start up a business in Wilson, North Carolina.
That's it. So how did you go from wanting to start the business to like where you are now? Because I know there's like a process that goes along with that. And I feel like that information can really help some people.
Honestly, I was very scared to even get started. I was doing it just for donations at first and trying to, figure it out. And it's working with ready to eat products compared to making cakes and stuff. There's a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a scary start, but if you've got a strong support system and you've got the work ethic to do it, it's no problem. And I mean, can't hurt to try anything.
That's right. Especially if you're tired of working for somebody else.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I know before we were talking and you were mentioning people with celiac disease and some of those other types of situations. So how does your business somewhat help those that are dealing with those issues?
I try to have plenty of options. If you come to farmers market, you'll see typically I have 6, 7 flavors out, and I'm very careful. The last restaurant I managed took allergies very, very seriously. The manager was notified. We spoke with every customer that had allergies. And so it's something that I fully understand and I don't personally deal with, but I've got family members that do. I've dealt with it in previous work and I know how serious it is.
Yeah.
I have several flavors that are gluten free. Um, I've got a bunch that have no added salt, no added sugar. Anybody that's looking, because jerky is supposed to be a pretty healthy snack. I
Right.
mean, that's what, when you think of hiking and stuff like that and traveling, it's supposed to be on the healthier side. So I'm not necessarily leaning to make it the healthiest snack because I've got, my Korean barbecue flavor is the most
Right.
popular and it is loaded with sugar, but people love it.
Yeah.
But I've got options for everybody from, on the sweeter side to on the spicier side, mild. But specifically, you're not, unless you're vegan, which is something I'm kind of working on too. But unless you're vegan, I've got beef jerky for everybody,
Nice.
for every kind of allergy, every, whatever. And if I don't have it, tell me about it and I'm happy to try something new.
Yeah.
But I've actually started working on some vegan jerky, doing portobello mushrooms. I've had some success with it. I'm still tweaking it. It is 100% vegan. I use portobello mushrooms, and then for the most part, my black pepper marinade. But I do switch out the Worcestershire because it has a
Okay.
lot of cheese in it. and have to cut it a little bit because it's pretty salty. But just trying to tweak that, and then hopefully next season I'll have something for vegans as well.
Wow.
I did samples one day a couple weeks ago, and it really took off. And I've had people come in every week, like, I heard you have mushroom jerky and this and that, and I'm like, oh, sorry, it was just a test, and so,
Yeah.
but something I'm working on so that way vegans can have it too.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I've had tons of people asking for it.
That's awesome. So I've always been curious. Like, obviously, there's like the meat, and then you dehydrate it. But talk about the kind of the process from beginning to end, because I know I'm freaking interested
Yeah.
in how that works.
I buy through Wilson Packing Company, and I pay a little bit extra to have them slice it for me because the amount that I do on a slower week, I do 60 pounds of meat a week. So, for instance, next weekend I've got 2 markets. So, and that's the only places I'm really selling at. I've got some other places that I'll sell like a case to here and
Yeah.
there. That's separate. So, but an average week, 60 to 100 pounds, and trimming it and everything alone, everything that I do right now alone takes up a lot of time. So if you add slicing it myself, it takes even more time. So I do have it sliced for me through Wilson Packing Company,
Yeah.
which is actually not even a minute down the road from my kitchen. So it works out perfect.
Nice.
So once I get it from them sliced, I do have to trim it because I do use bottom round, which is a fattier piece, but it holds a lot more flavor.
Gotcha.
So trim it, then I make my marinades. I let most of them marinate 12 to 16 hours. Certain ones I go a little bit longer. My Eastern Carolina barbecue is a vinegar base, and the longer it sits, the better it is.
Yeah.
So, but for the most part, they don't need to sit longer than 12 to 16 hours. The dehydrating process is anywhere from 6 to 8 hours. So after that, pretty much good to go, other than packaging.
Nice. So, given all your current success, what's the biggest challenge that you face right now?
Probably just being me, and only one person can only do so much. And, I've got people asking, when are you going to start shipping? When are you going to start selling online? This and that. And I've been told a million times, it's time to hire somebody. It's time to hire somebody. And yes, I probably should. But at the same time, I'm putting the risk into other people's hands. And I want my product to be my product. I want it to be consistent.
Yeah.
Because you never know, somebody can trim it differently than me and leave a lot of fat on, and then you got really fatty, greasy jerky. And I just want consistency.
Right.
And then it's like in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, you know what? What am I going to pay somebody to work 4 hours trimming? I could do that. That's
Right.
4
Yeah.
I can do that, and then 2 hours in, I'm like, oh, I need to hire somebody.
Yeah. That's an interesting answer, because a few episodes ago, someone gave me almost an identical answer. Like,
Yeah.
they're to the point where they need to hire somebody for the time, but the cost of doing that in their
Mhm.
head, they're trying to make sure that it all evens out.
I could also look into co-packing. I did a seminar once when I was really getting started about bringing your recipe to market or something like that. And they tell you stay away from co-packing as long as you can, because for one, they can steal your recipes. For
Oh
two,
no.
yeah, so it's not legally, I don't know, there's something funky about it. And then
Yeah.
you're also paying for those fees. But if I ever got that big, it would have to be, because
Yeah.
I've got a kitchen that I built in my family company that is
Nice.
my kitchen. And so you go from that, putting out 100 pounds a week to putting out, 1,000 pounds a week. There ain't no way
Right.
I can, there's no way I can do it by myself. So,
100%.
but I'm taking my time. I'm not trying to, rush. And, I've got a very, very good following in
Yeah.
Wilson. And I actually just got nominated for a few of the Wilson's Reader's Choice Awards.
Nice.
So favorite Made in Wilson product, favorite small business, and favorite new business.
Let's
So
go.
yeah, so I've
Triple
got a
crown.
lot
That's what I'm
of
talking
support.
about.
And unless those people want to come and start helping me, I'm gonna keep, feeding the community before I look to go big time.
What are some of the adversities that you've gone through during this process, and what are some of the biggest lessons that you learned from them?
The main thing was the kitchen. So like I said, I started out, making the marinades and trimming everything at my house, and then cooking here in the break room at my family's company. And which you can't do. I mean, legally you can't do. And
Right.
I mean, starting out, I did. I
Yeah.
was doing it for donations and whatnot at first, and then so Then I went to using the Wilson Spot, which is off of Tarboro Street. They've got a
Yeah.
commercial kitchen. So I started using that kitchen, but I couldn't do it until after work. So I
Mm.
couldn't even start until 5:30. And
Yeah.
then it takes 5 to 6 hours. So then it's 11:30 before you know it. And then then school started up and they needed the space. And so the hours got all weird. So that was the toughest thing, is finding a approved kitchen to use.
Right.
So finally I was like, what if I build it in work? I mean, that way I can do two jobs at once.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the hardest things. Figuring out, like I said earlier, about the ready to eat product,
Mm.
dealing with Department of Ag and everything. I've been told 20 different things from 20 different people starting out. Like, oh, this is how you have to do it. This is the way you do it. And this is the way you do it. And you got to meet this person first and this person. I talked to so many people. I talked to people at NC State. I talked to Department of Ag. I've talked to Meat and Poultry. I've talked to Health Department. And it's like, oh no, that's this problem. You need to talk to them. It's their thing. And it was just all
Wow.
over the place. I wish there was like a step-by-step guide.
Yeah.
Back to your question about starting a new business, there's no step-by-step
Right.
guide.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
not. There's not one perfect right way to do it. Every place is different when it comes to inspections and everything else. So it's not easy, but it's very doable.
What do you like most about what you do?
I love the farmers market. I I was in the service industry my whole life. I talked to people for a living. And then once again, I started working with family, and I'm an office manager, and I answer phones and talk to a few people, but it's not me.
Yeah.
So farmers market, I've made best friends with my neighbors at the farmers market, and we all look out for each other, and you meet so many people there. That's how I met you there. And
Yeah.
it's just made so many connections, and it's for 4 hours on a Saturday, and it's beautiful. I don't know, that is my absolute favorite part, and seeing people's reactions for new flavors.
Yeah.
Because I like to throw a random fun flavor out every now and then, and so people get excited. They're like, "Oh, like I did barbecue this week, and I did
Nice.
chimichurri a couple weeks ago," and people, go crazy for new flavors because
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, they eat a lot of my jerky, and so they probably get tired of the same flavors.
If I remember correctly, it has the ingredients on the packaging, right?
Yeah.
So a big thing for me, because I'm like super health conscious,
Uh,
is if you go to like a gas station, for instance, or even like a beef jerky like mega store,
yeah.
man, when you look on the back, it's like a book talking about
Yeah.
what's in it. That's always freaked me out.
Yeah.
So seeing that there's minimal ingredients in yours really was huge for me.
And another thing with as far as not having a nutritional panel, for small business, if you sell less than 100,000 units a year, you're not required to have the nutritional panel. But having the ingredients is required, and it is very helpful. Like I said, when it goes back, especially to allergies and
Yeah.
sensitivities and whatnot. So, but yeah, I had no preservatives. I've bought stuff to, what did I buy? I haven't even opened it yet, but it's some kind of preservative because I'm terrified of using it.
Yeah.
I don't want it to change my flavor. I don't want, change the color of anything. It really kind of freaks me out.
If you had to start over for some reason, what would you do differently?
The kitchen would have been very helpful last year starting out. To be honest, the very first year I did it, or the first market season I did it, I was losing money
Mm.
left and right. I mean, truthfully, and I didn't, I was buying meat from Piggly Wiggly and, buying 20 pounds at a time at, $5 a pound. And
Yeah.
it's when you dehydrate, you lose so much weight.
Mm.
I lose probably 65 to 70 percent in weight
Wow.
from dehydrating, because I use thin cut too. So it gets
Right.
very, I mean, the water content's nearly nothing by the end of
Yeah.
it. But so having a kitchen, having a a regular butcher, it was so inconsistent before. And nothing against Piggly Wiggly, because I love those guys looked after me big
Yeah.
time. They're like, "Oh, the jerky lady's here," and but having a stable kitchen right off the bat would have been very helpful. And then having a regular butcher that I could call and be like, "Hey, I need 30 pounds." They're like, "Okay, have it ready tomorrow."
Yeah.
Uh, that's something I would have changed. And pricing, because like I said, I was selling it for $5 a bag, and I know, you know, prices of my beef jerky is a little high.
But also, it's not mass produced with a million ingredients. Okay, there's
Exactly.
that.
Exactly.
And also one thing I've noticed, and this could just be me as a person, but for one, people don't mind paying more for higher quality
Mhm.
ingredients, and they don't mind paying more if they know it's not going to some gigantic corporate machine, if it's going
Right.
to a person,
Yeah.
which is really cool about Wilson. I've noticed that big time.
Mhm.
People in Wilson really are local focused, which is freaking really cool to me.
Yeah. Especially, and like I said, the farmer's market, I mean, you can get every vegetable you ever needed,
Yeah.
and it's grown here, and so it's coming along, especially downtown, very much coming around to be a very local loving place.
What is the best advice you've ever been given?
This is probably sounds a little harsh, but my dad raised me and my brother, and he told us our entire lives growing up, if you're gonna be dumb, you got to be tough, and I still live by that. I'm pretty
Heck yeah.
tough. I think I'm not that dumb, but I'm pretty tough. So,
Yeah,
but if you're gonna make mistakes, you gotta live up to it and deal with it. So,
absolutely.
but it's helped me along the way. I've learned a lot from that.
Yeah,
You take the hard road or take the easy road.
that's it. Yeah.
Definitely taking the harder road growing up, but
Yeah.
I think it's worked out for me this far.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share that I didn't think to ask?
Especially for the Wilson community watchers. I am in the process of opening a bar
Nice.
downtown, and it is going to be dive bar, beer, wine, and liquor, no food. North Carolina just passed or they got rid of, up to recently, bars were technically illegal in North Carolina. And so to be a bar with no food, you had to be a private bar and require memberships.
Oh, wow.
And so they just did away with that, or you had to serve food, and 30% of your sales had to come from food. So my that's one of my dreams, was to, open a bar, open a wedding venue. Like, I have a lot of dreams that involve the
Yeah.
food service industry, but so we are in the works to open that. We're hoping for end of September, mid-October, but it's going to be named Ice and Fuel Company, which
Nice.
is the name of an ice factory that was in Wilson back in the 1930s.
Wow, I love that.
So, but it's gonna be a really cool place, and we're really excited about it. So that's
Yeah.
my next venture. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break from jerky to get that started, and then get back to it.
Where can our listeners go to learn more about you, learn more about the business, let everybody know what's going on with you and where they can go for that?
So I don't have a website yet. I strictly use Facebook and Instagram. Instagram handle is Breakroom Jerky, and Facebook, same thing, Breakroom Jerky. I do have my email linked to my Facebook, I believe, but you can always message me on either of those. I do have the stuff to ship, and I am working on getting more involved with that, especially with the market ending soon.
Yeah.
But if you're local and you want a bag of jerky, or you see a flavor you like and you don't think you can make it to the market, people can send me a message and say, like, hey, can you hold these bags for me or whatever? They can come pick it up. I can meet them somewhere. So they can always feel free to send me a message. And if I've got the flavor on hand, I can make it happen that day. If not, then I can work on it and get it to them within a week.
And I don't even know that a website is as necessary as it used to be. To
Yeah.
be honest, I feel like sometimes in people's mind, it's like traditionally, I've got to have a website, but it's not even freaking necessary hardly
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. And I'm not shipping across country just yet. So,
Right. Yeah.
so
Exactly.
that then it might be necessary. But right now, I'm going to keep it as local as possible.
Well, Taylor, thank you so much for being on. I know you're busy, so I really appreciate your time. And everybody else, go check her out. Hit her up on Instagram, Facebook. Go spend like all the money you can on this jerky. It's really good. So, but thanks everybody for listening. Thanks everybody for viewing, and I'll see you next time.